One of the metrics that a company can use to ensure that its training and development function is aligned with its business strategy is a balanced scorecard. In this lecture, let's take a closer look at this beneficial tool. Balanced scorecards are used by some companies to help them align the objectives of their strategy with the specific initiatives and activities that the organization plans to implement in order to realize their objectives. So the balanced scorecard fits between the strategy and the specific actions the organization wants to take. There are two main components of the balanced scorecard: the measures that the organization will use to assess whether or not the objectives were met, and the specific targets that the organization is trying to reach. This metric attempts to take measurements from at least 4 different perspectives: financial, customers, internal processes, and learning. The process of creating and balancing one of these scorecards is done by a group of people, a group of stakeholders. As a training and development specialist, you probably won't create a scorecard on your own, but you may be asked to participate in coming up with the measures, the targets, the initiatives, and activities in the 4th category, in the learning, innovation, organizational capacity category. Here are the 4 perspectives and the main concerns of each one. The financial perspective is concerned with the company's financial performance, its profitability, market growth, shareholder value. What do investors think of the company's financials? The customer perspective is focused on the value of the product or service, whether it's meeting the needs of its customers. What do customers think of the company's product or service? Internal business processes refer to those that are related to the product or service, and that could be used to improve its quality and the efficiency of the entire system. What processes can increase quality and efficiency? The learning and growth perspective sometimes goes by the name organizational capacity, as it is in the example on the next slide. The learning perspective is focused on the organization's human capital, technology, and culture. All of the aspects of the organization that are essential to its high performance. How can the organization develop its employees in a way that provides a return on the investment in training? So let's take a look at an example to bring this very abstract concept to life. There is a lot going on in this graphic, so let me break it down for you. Technically, these 2 columns, measures and targets, make up the balanced scorecard. For easy reference, the company's vision, mission, and strategic priorities appear at the top of the graphic. This helps decision makers ensure that the strategy and other components are aligned with the big picture. The 4 rows in this table correspond to the 4 perspectives that we just learned about. The learning perspective is labeled organizational capacity in this example. In each row, there are objectives that have been mapped together to show their relationships with one another across the 4 perspectives. The next 2 columns contain the scorecard data, the measures that will be taken to assess whether objectives have been met, and the targets that key decision makers are aiming for. The last column includes the initiatives that will be implemented to attain the objectives. Some scorecards include another column labeled activities. In this example, one of the learning and growth objectives is to improve knowledge and skills, which can lead to improvements in the other perspectives, in internal processes, customer value, and ultimately stakeholder value. The organization plans to use employee development plans to measure this objective, to measure whether knowledge and skills have been improved. The target is to have 95% of these development plans created and implemented by some date. The company identified a single initiative, product and marketing training, to address this objective. So the company plans to increase knowledge and skills through a product and marketing training program and use employee development plans to measure whether or not the objective was met. This objective is one that is most relevant to training and development. I encourage you to review the other rows, including the measures, targets, and initiatives that the organization plans to use in order to become more familiar with the Balanced Scorecard and its potential benefits for you and your organization.